Huh. Something feels different, right?
You got that right, Chief.
It's so weird. It feels like our surroundings are different, more polished somehow.
I know. I almost feel like our special effects should be getting better.
But they do not.
What's going on, fearless leader of the game OverThinker?
Yeah, what's happening, sir?
I don't know exactly, Ivan the intern. Do you have any ideas, Retro Thinker? Well, as a 1980s cable access television video game critic frozen in 1990 and only recently unthawed, I got nothing. What do you think, the anti-thinker?
I don't got a friggin' clue. But, as the OverThinker's evil doppelganger from another dimension, I bet it has something to do with our sudden need to speak in awkward, overly expository sentences. But then, I'm kind of the guy who's always wrong about stuff.
Hi, guys.
Whoa! What the hell is that?
Who are you now?
I'm MovieBob. Well, I'm MovieBob's voice, at least. The faces are emotional avatars meant to solidify branding and fill visual gaps. And who or what is a MovieBob? The creator of Escape to the Movies and The Big Picture? And also all of you and the entirety of Adventures of the Game OverThinker.
Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah, that guy!
Hi, Bob!
So, where are we right now?
You're making a guest appearance on The Big Picture.
Ooh, fancy.
Well, I guess that explains the awkward introductory exposition, right? You know, for people who haven't met us before.
OverThinker, time for your monthly inspection.
Yeah, there, you see? Now think how confusing that would be if you'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be bizarre, right? Yes, I concur.
And, why, pray tell, are we here? The Escapist would like you guys to talk about your hopes and predictions for this year's E3.
I predict I don't care. And, I hope I don't stop.
Anti-thinker, do not be like that. Yeah, anti-thinker, I mean, it's E3. It's a celebration of greed, avarice, rampant consumerism, style over substance, meaningless hype, empty promises, artistic homogenization, style over substance, and the continued degradation of a once creative medium into just another bland technological arms race aimed ever more exclusively at the privileged class. It's literally everything wrong with video games all crammed into one place. You, of all people, should love that.
What can I say? I am large. I contain multiple dudes. Walt Disney said that.
Multitudes.
What about pubes?
The word is multitudes, and it was Walt Whitman.
The chocolate guy?
Guys. Sorry. Okay, guys, let's just go around the room and we'll talk about what we're most excited for from E3. Retro Thinker, would you like to start? Well, I'll be honest, modern gaming continues to be kind of a mixed bag for me. I still don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, and I really don't have any regrets about that decision so far. There's just nothing going on that's lighting my fire. I mean, so far all of the big planned or hoped for stuff has been like, oh boy, last year's games but in slightly higher frame rates. Great. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some winners, but what I want to see is stuff that you couldn't have predicted. So I guess what I want more than anything is to be surprised. You know, man, given that you're kind of our go-to retro gaming guy and they are kind of the last champion of the golden age left, did you have anything in particular you'd like to say about Nintendo at this year's E3? Hope springs eternal, I guess? Fair enough. Anti-thinker, what are your hopes for E3?
I'm feeling pretty damn good about it, actually.
Really, Anti-thinker?
What? Think about it. I'm a white male in my early 30s living in the suburbs with copious disposable income and not by accident very few actual life responsibilities.
And my primary interests in entertainment are aggressively violent monodimensional simulations of retrograde masculine power fantasies for me to seize upon as an outlet for my reflexive hatred of those different than me and deeply ingrained misogyny. And to provide catharsis for my fears of change, paralyzing sexual insecurity, and looming dread that I am adrift and without purpose in an evolving post-patriarchal society that may well have no genuine use for the likes of me.
So basically, the video game industry very rarely lets me down.
I'd like to apologize in advance to the Escapist forum moderators.
Hey, Anyone who's got any problem with anything I say is no better than the terrorists or the feminazis, and y'all need to stop stepping on my First Commandment rights.
Okay. Let's hear from Ivan. Ivan, what are you most excited about at E3?
Ivan likes indie games. Ivan likes indie games. Ivan likes indie games. Ivan likes indie games.
Well, that was really positive. Looks like it's your turn, Overthinker. Well, fun. What I wish for most is fun. So much of the focus in gaming now is on scores and data and spreadsheets and sales figures and projections and units shipped. It's like at some point we all decided that the game we really wanted to play was fantasy sports but for electronics company profit margins. I don't like that game. My hope is that whatever happens at E3, as many people as possible see or hear at least something that sounds fun to them, makes them excited, makes them happy that there's going to be a game or device they want to play. I hope to see more diversity too, not because it looks good for the medium, but because it'll mean a greater variety of people getting joy and excitement out of video games. I mean, joy and excitement. Those were great. Remember those?
You know, now that you mention it, the new Mortal Kombat, that looks pretty sick, right?
That does look good. Hey, and maybe a new Kingdom Hearts.
I want to find out what Mario Maker is. So, yeah, alright. Going out on a high note. Will that work, boss? Yeah, I think that'll work, guys. Thanks for turning out. Enjoy E3, everybody. Until next time, I'm Bob.
And I'm the anti-thinker.
I'm Ivan.
I'm the retro thinker. And I'm the game overthinker. And that's the big picture. If you enjoyed this special crossover of the game overthinker and the big picture,
consult a licensed physician immediately.
seriously though, folks, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, check out brand new and classic episodes of the Game OverThinker on YouTube, and check out our blog right here at the links below. Okay, gang, is everyone ready to talk about what we actually saw at E3 last week? You betcha!
Hell yeah!
Do I have a choice?
Alright then, so... guys, you're not in this episode. Huh? How come? Because that was a one-time, just-for-fun thing, and now we're gonna get back to doing the regular big picture.
Aw, I wanted us to do a heavily detailed E3 recap.
And I'm sure you will, on your own show. Can we come back? Maybe. Bye, Escapist! Bye! Check us out on YouTube! So yeah, E3 happened. Sony talked for too long, Microsoft said, "Guys, Master Chief, really, we promise." Ubisoft apparently feels about women the way Rob Liefeld feels about drawing feet. Way too many gruff, world-weary Caucasian dudes, you know, the usual. A surprising, almost consensus that seemed to take hold in the immediate aftermath was the big quote-unquote winner this year was actually Nintendo, because they showed off a lot of stuff people had been hoping and or wanting to see. Yeah, alright. So I guess this means everyone's gonna go out and buy Wii U's now, right? Didn't think so. Of course, what was always going to be a big deal was the first teasing reveal of the next Legend of Zelda, which looks a lot like the last Legend of Zelda, but you get to have your horse again. So, yeah, yay horse. What was really interesting, though, is that a fairly sizable portion of games journalists and viewers at home took a look at this most recent incarnation of the hero of time and collectively asked each other the same question. Hey, does it look to you like Link is a woman this time? And cards on the table, I was one of them. And because we predicted it all the way back in episode 76. Go back to your own show. Sorry. But yeah, there was also that. Making Zelda herself playable, making gender choice an option in the game, or making Link female are all ideas that have been batted around by gamers for years. Add to that the fact that Where Are All the Women At kind of became a running theme for E3 coverage in general this year, and then what seemed like a cryptic quote from Eiji Aonuma, and it's easy to see how the supposition took on a life of its own. I mean, I could also get into specific details, like the genre-specific gender coding of the riding hood, the horse-riding poise, the seemingly slimmer-than-usual waist suggesting feminine hips, the young anime female look of the arrow-firing stance and animation. You get the idea. Either way, it's apparently a moot point because Aonuma apparently later clarified that no, this is Link, just perhaps even more bishonen than usual. Ah well, that happens. I get that some people are disappointed about this because the idea of it was circulating for a few days and clearly got a lot of people excited, but since it was only ever a fandom guess, getting upset about it would be sort of like getting upset that Cloverfield wasn't actually about Voltron. Plus, Nintendo clearly saw social media and the gaming press light up about this, so theoretically, the fact that this is something a good amount of people seem to want is now known to them. And I feel about that precisely the way I did before, during, and immediately after this brief bit of confusion. A female Link? I think Nintendo should absolutely do that. That would be awesome, for a whole pile of reasons. First off, it'd be different, and if there's one thing this shambling, bumbling, increasingly bloated, yet increasingly empty husk of a medium could use, it's a lot more different. I understand that gaming is just going through the same awkward adolescent phase that comic books did in the 90s, but when the best visual counter-argument to the medium having been utterly overrun by subtle variation on the same boring, crusty, hard-ass white dude as a group shot of legacy characters, all from 2 decades ago or more, you've got a problem. Secondly, and related, the embarrassing lack of proper female protagonists in general is one of the most visible symptoms of the rampant vile misogyny that permeates too much of the industry and gamer culture. Taking a super iconic character who's always been male and saying, let's make him a her this time, would inevitably be called a stunt, but a stunt or not, it would also be the clearest and loudest possible signal of acknowledgement that the 21st century world is progressing and evolving and that video games must progress and evolve with it. Let me be really clear on that point too. New female characters, good and desperately needed. Female characters taking over lead spots in established franchises, also good. But gender flipping an iconic, universally recognized character, earth-shaking. That's a game changer. But Link is really the only character where you could do it while risking only minimal backlash. See, the catch-22 of feminizing a Nathan Drake or a Marcus Phoenix or even a Mario is that they're already, to one degree or another, caricatures of exaggerated masculine archetypes, so a proper female version is inevitably going to come off more like a commentary on the original than a character in her own right. But Link, well, obviously Link is fairly androgynous most of the time to begin with. That's how this whole conversation got started. Hell, we've already pretty much seen what a female Link would look like, and yeah, the difference really is that minimal, and she really didn't look like an unintended parody at all. Also, this is just about the only series where it'd be perfectly in line with the canon. Remember, the mythology of the Zelda series holds that Link, Zelda, and Ganon exist in a repeating cycle of reincarnation across generations, but it doesn't say anything about them always having to come back in the same exact form. This generation, the hero of Hyrule was born a woman, is literally the only justification you'd need. Finally, yeah, I'm gonna go there. This would be positive. This would be a net good thing for Nintendo, for gaming, for popular culture, for everything. All those factors that make Link uniquely ideal for this quote-unquote stunt also mean that gaming would actually make a positive progressive move with regard to representation before film, TV, books, etc. got there first. We've never had that before. And yeah, think about the message. Think about what this would mean to young women who've always been told that no matter how far ahead they get, there's still a ceiling and they'll almost always start in second place. Imagine a Zelda game and Nintendo, of all companies, becoming the ultimate go-to oh yeah the next time any developer fumbles over representation. And finally, think what this could mean symbolically to gamers with questions, uncertainties, or otherwise fluidity about their own gender. Look, bottom line as far as I'm concerned, any footage of a new Zelda at E3 is always a huge deal. But this time, I saw a lot more enthusiasm and energy to this discussion than there was in the usually high-intensity areas of trying to figure out where this falls in the timeline, or what the various bits of landscape and detail might tell us about the story. To me, that says something, and I hope Nintendo was listening. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.